food and anemone. So that would be for a native woodland field there you'd expect to find, and it's early flowering, March, April, celandine as well, so early flowering before the leaves shade over, so they like the light, and obviously insects, you've got early flowers, you've got pollen, so it's great. There's another one here, so this is meadowsweet. Now it's later flowering, but it's an indication of wetness, so riverbank you'd have meadowsweet. And the other thing, this is, do you know what this? Ash. Yeah, but if you look at this one here, so it's dieback. So somebody was saying about what you plant. So alluvial woodlands are a very rare habitat in Ireland because of drainage. There are very few of them. Hazelwood and Sligo on Lochgill is a really nice example. So before we drained, there was natural flooding next to your river, and the species that would occur naturally, willow, alder and ash. So ash don't mind the wet. So even though you see ash in a lot of places, they don't mind the wet, and you can see it here, it's naturally regenerating. But because of dieback, it only gets to a certain age now, and then it stops growing. It's hit now, so that one's already dying. And it seems to, now there's a few small... What's causing the dieback? It's a fungus, I can't remember the proper name of it.
It came from Japan. It was the Japanese ash species was kind of resistant to it, but I don't know why they imported Japanese ash, but anyway, it all came in. But anyway, it's absolutely everywhere. Mallinhead to Mizenhead, I've looked at it now the last few years, and it's just, it's particularly in the centre of the country where they like a bit of limey soil. They're not, you won't find them in very acid areas, so there mightn't be that many of them out there. I don't know, but certainly in the Midlands, there's millions and millions of them, and they're all gone.
Last year was terrible. Right, from here to Dublin, nearly every apple tree is dead. I'd say 95% are dead. And around here, a lot of planting was done with ash. They're all dying, and I don't think they've even quite noticed yet. Along the West Road, all those ash are dying.
There's a company that are making firewood out.
You want to see it in Leitrim? Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
One of the hurling companies went out of business now.
I heard there was a tail end of that yesterday.
Yeah, just only yesterday.
On a nice bit of 20-30 years ago.
Unimaginable how big this tube is. You've actually importing ash into the country that's full of. I mean, this is what happened to all their Dutch elm disease. We lost their elm, lost their ash. We don't have many trees.
When I was, as we were standing here, and in the overall picture, one would have to say this, later in the year, the Indian balm was growing last, a lovely crop of it, a really pretty flower. And you know what was done, one has to say it for the sake of truth and reality. Weed killer was used all along on it there. And a lot alone destroying a gorgeous and beautiful flower to be getting into the river as well. And in the overall picture of the world of nature, we have that has to be brought in as well. Those things like that. But that did happen. I walked here
it probably is.
Nearly every day.
Yeah, but it's an invasive, so it outcompetes the native flora. So if we allow Himalayan balsam and the other invasives, Japanese knotweed, rhododendron, if they're allowed to spread, and Himalayan balsam spreads the seeds go into the river and it colonises along. But
all I do, but surely it should be thrown beside the river and using, I don't know what type of weed, but it could be Roundup, and should that would be soaking, getting in. It was growing right at the bank. And that would be getting into the weed killer, would be getting into the river.
But they shouldn't be using the weed killer, but the Himalayan balsam is an issue.
And what would be the best way of removing it if you're not using weed killer? Like
pull it. You have to pull it. Pull it.
I'm pulling it.
You have to pull it.
But don't pull
Not when it's in seed.
And not the Japanese knotweed. So completely different approach.
Yeah.
Japanese knotweed, if you do that, you'll spread it. But with the Himalayan balsam, I've done kind of 100-metre sections myself on a bad fishing afternoon on the Slaney and cleared it completely. And if everybody did that, it does help.
And the other thing about Himalayan balsam is that when it dies back, then the banks are, destabilized. It's not. It doesn't hold it together like a natural, mix of plants. It dies back and then it's prone to erosion. Then it just floods.
Well, they've done a lovely walkway through the Colonel's Wood here up in Knockranny. And the balsam is down the bottom end of it, and it's just ripping through it. It's absolutely ripping through it,
So that's like a local volunteer
It
project.
is, you'll have to.
Yeah, I mean, one of the kind of, I suppose the point about the whole program that we're running is to get people involved with projects like that, to get in. And I mean, whether it's an awareness thing or it's actually doing something physical like removing Himalayan balsam or well, there's we've had some very fancy projects going on that came out of some of these. Like we did one of these, and we started off in Louth in 2019, or maybe even 2018. And then we did Longford, Roscommon, and now we're in Mayo, and we have one in Monaghan coming up as well. So it's kind of, but LawPro, the local authority water program, they want people to get involved with the river basin management plan. Like it's still open for comments at the moment on the LawPro website. We have links to that on. We'll email you all the details anyway, and you can browse through the information afterwards. Okay. Up to the next one. Then.
Yep.